Identity theft is a crime that affected 12.6 million people in 2012 alone. Due to our increasing reliance on technology, this is becoming more and more of an issue in our modern society. As you can see by the graph, 28% of identity fraud results in credit card fraud. This is followed by 19% for cell phones and utilities, and 18% for bank fraud. There's two different types of identity fraud. The first being true name theft. In this situation, people obtain information about you to go open up brand new accounts in your name. Because they have a different mailing address, this type of fraud can take months, even years to be able to detect. There's also account takeover, where someone gains information on one of your existing accounts, changes the password or PIN number, and locks you out of your account and giving them full access to it. So how do people go about getting this information? The most popular way is hacking into an account database. This is becoming more and more popular because through the internet you don't have the face-to-face interactions that we once had. There's also radio frequency identification devices where someone can scan the information from your credit card, retain it, and then use it later against you. They do make shields now that you can put your credit cards in that will actually block from the rays from these devices. There's also many old-fashioned ways that are still used. Dumpster diving, where people will go through your trash to try to find bank statements, utility bills, or anything that has your personal information on it to be able to gain more information to start accounts up in your name. There's also shoulder surfing, where while you're filling out some documentations, people will look over your shoulders, get pieces of information in order to start gaining more knowledge about you. There's also the old-fashioned way of just losing your purse or wallet. Depending on the information that you have in there, people can start to use that against you to open up new credit and obviously gain information on your bank account if your credit card's in there. So what are the effects of identity fraud? Many people will open up utilities, particularly cell phones in someone's name, pay the bills for the first couple months so that there's no fraudulent activity suspected, and then they'll default on it, leaving you with a large bill that you're going to have to end up paying down the road. Many people will also open up lines of credit under your name. The most popular are credit cards due to the pre-approval notices coming so frequently and normally just being thrown away. Many people have also opened up auto loans that they default on and then they're never able to find the car. And in some extreme cases, there's homes that are put in someone else's name with people completely stealing your identity and living a whole life under your name. There's also many legal issues that can come up from identity fraud. The most popular is the responsibility for the debt that was incurred under your name. There's also crimes that are sometimes committed when someone else is using an identification that has your name on it. The most popular are vehicular crimes, particularly DUIs and stuff like that, where people will commit them and then never show up for court, then that's a warrant out for your arrest. You have to spend a bunch of money on lawyers just to prove your innocence in the case. There have also been instances with medical issues where people will gain insurance information about somebody, get prescriptions filled in their names, and then when the real person goes to get their prescriptions, they're denied them because they're already on record that people have filled prescriptions there under your name. There's many things that you could do in order to prevent identity fraud. The most important is education on the matter. You need to know what information you have to protect. This slide here gives some different important things that you want to make sure you watch out for. Social security number, driver's license number, credit card number, all the way down to birth certificate. However, this is not an inclusive list. There have been counts where people will steal a dog tag license number, go to the vet pretending to be that pet's owner, and get information on people's address. Phishing for information has really become something that's become more of a refined activity. People are getting a lot smarter on how they go about finding information. So when in doubt, it's important to make sure that you have information protected. You've got to watch what you post on social media sites. Obviously, you don't want to go on Facebook and post information about your credit card or bank accounts, but even posting about your daily activities could pose a risk. People start to figure out habits about you, where you go, what you spend your money on, what activities you like. And with getting that information, they can start to look for more information and then gain enough to be able to open up accounts in your name. And most importantly, you want to make sure that you check your credit report annually. You could go to annualcreditreport.com and obtain one free credit report every year. It's important to look at it, make sure that there's no suspicious activity going on so that you can make sure that you're protected. Also, just protecting the information that you have. It's very important to make sure that you shred any bank statements, any utility bills, any pre-approval letters from credit cards, because this is the information that's most often used when identity theft occurs. Never carry too much in your purse or wallet. There have actually been cases where people have carried around a second decoy wallet with some fake credit cards in it and minimal cash, so that if they are robbed, they could get that wallet instead of their original one, and then they don't have to worry about their identity being stolen. It's also important to make sure that you clean out any old information out of your purse so that that stuff can't be found later on in the future when it's not even needed to be carried around anyway. You also want to make sure that you secure documents that aren't needed daily, such as your birth certificate or social security card. A safe or lockbox are best to house these particular documents, because if they go missing, it's going to take you a longer amount of time to realize that they're missing. Also, you just want to make sure that you plan ahead. You want to make sure that your bank has a good identity fraud protection program where if your bank account is hacked into, those charges can be covered. You can also get identity fraud insurance. Normally you could get that right in with your house insurance, that if something does happen where debts are rung up in your name, they'll cover it up to a certain dollar amount. There's also many different websites such as lifelock.com where you can have them paying close attention to your credit report, reporting to you whenever your credit's run, and go through additional security measures whenever somebody tries to obtain your information. I know that this may not seem very important now, but the highest percentage of people who fall victim to identity theft are college-age students between the ages of 20 and 29. They're less likely to track their bank account information, less likely to look up credit reports, and they're less likely to take any measures against identity theft. So the most important thing to know is to remember to shred. You want to strengthen your online passwords by using uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and special characters, and you want to be sure that you don't use the same password for multiple sites. You want to handle information with care, making sure that you're shredding information when needed or locking it away when you can't shred it. You want to read your credit report annually to look for suspicious activity. Empty your purse or wallet of any unnecessary information, and discuss tips with friends and family on how they can prevent identity fraud. With following these tips and making sure that you're educated on preventing identity fraud, it can really lower the number of cases that we have for identity fraud year over year.